Hello everybody. We did a rehouse today. Actually, I just did it not too long ago, as a matter of fact. And I was debating between a handful of spiders on who I wanted to put in here. And it was between the Homoioma species blue, the Brachypelma albiceps, the Brachypelma albopilosum nicaraguan, which is a bit bigger than this one. Quite a bit bigger, actually, 1.5 times the size of this one, and then this Brachypelma emilia. So I'm kind of trying to get, like I said before, I'm trying to get all my brachy's into these clear enclosures. So I kind of settled between this and the Brachypelma albiceps, and because this enclosure already had holes in it, I looked at these spiders and I went with the Brachypelma emilia. So you could see the circle outline around her. I just had the catch cup over top of her while I put some of these little quick decorations in there. They're nothing major. I'll give you a little bit of information about the Brachypelma emilia. Again, I looked some of this up online. And with all Brachypelma species, they are obligate burrowers. So they will burrow if a hide's not provided for them, for the most part, if they have enough area to dig in. So what I did was I created a hill back there, and you can see the difference in the substrate depth as you go. And I cut a piece of cork bark, it's about 1 inch thick, just as an opening for this little, hopefully, girl to go down inside there and dig down. If you remember, when I put the other little smaller emilia into the small critter keeper, it actually dug down because it had enough dirt to do so. So in the back end, it's a mixture of a sphagnum moss, peat moss, the potting soil that I've been using, and then cocoa fiber. And then, of course, a little bit of reptisoil in there. I went with a more basic cocoa fiber top layer on this one, instead of the reptisoil like I've done on some of the other ones. I just want to see how differently they act to some of the different soils. So a little bit about the Brachypelma emilia. The common name is the Mexican redleg. They're not a big, they're one of the smaller Brachypelma species, actually. I think 4-inch, possibly a 5-inch emilia is going to be a big size female. That's about the extent of their size. I didn't really look up total size of what they are, but these are things I remember from researching them before. Of course, they're a Mexican species. They come from Nayarit. It's in the Sinaloa, I think Sinaloa forest, which is a scrubland forest with sparse vegetation, low vegetation, stuff like succulents and things like that. And they will burrow out in the open, or they will burrow under a rock, or they will burrow actually wherever they can. And of course, these species burrow, and this was something that somebody wanted me to mention before. One of the reasons that spiders, especially spiders like this, burrow is to escape the heat, escape predation, and then have someplace they can feel safe to molt. So they don't burrow just for the kicks of it. There's reasons why they do it. So if you have a spider that you have deep substrate in and it doesn't burrow, it's because it's content and happy. It's not because it's broken. Because a lot of people are like, my albopilosum's broken, it won't dig, it just lives underneath the piece of cork bark I put in there. Well, that's because it's content with what it has. But I'm trying to give these Brachypelma species a little bit more of an opportunity to dig in places than I have prior to this. So anyway, get back to the spider itself. They have a rainy season, which they get roughly around 24.25 inches of annual rainfall, most between the months of May and September. Those are your basic rainy seasons in Mexico. Where they're from is the exact same latitude as Hawaii. That was a kind of interesting fact that I read today. So, you can imagine Hawaii and then draw a line straight across to Mexico, and that's basically the range of where these spiders are found. I do believe Stuart Longhorn put a big post on Tarantula Gossip today or the other day. If I remember correctly, the Brachypelma emilia are the northernmost species of the Mexican Brachypelma species. And there's still a huge area between where they're located and the border of the United States. So, you know, it was a discussion about Brachypelma migrating across the border, and Stuart would know because he was there doing research with, I can't remember Mr. Smith and another guy. I can't remember their names, sorry. But Andrew Smith is the one. Arachnologists, biologists. So they've done some research, you know, where these are populated, and they're trying to get a better idea of the population of each different type of Brachypelma to give a better outcome map so that you can kind of see where they're located from. I don't know that they did much research on taxonomy on the spiders itself. I know that, you know, the Brachypelma hamori, Brachypelma anitha deal, or Brachypelma smithii actually, was done by Jorge Mendoza, and you can look up that whole reason for the species change from smithii to hamori, and then anitha to smithii. It's so hard to explain, and people just get lost when they do it. And sometimes I get lost when I explain it. So back again to the location. Their average temperature, their mean temperature in this area is 66 degrees. Their general high temperature is 83 degrees, and their general low temperature is 49 degrees. I'm sure that there's times when it gets a little bit below and a little bit above, but these were measured from last year. So it doesn't seem like it gets too hot there, and it doesn't get too cold there. Sounds like my ideal place to live, actually. And their average humidity is 66%. The temperature right now where they're located is 81 degrees, believe it or not. It is 81 degrees there. And January is one of their colder months, of course. And the humidity level right now is at 43%. So again, you know, my humidity level here when I looked at the hygrometer that we have in the house here was right around 42%, somewhere in that area. And I'm in the middle of winter with my heater running. So depending on, you know, what's being sucked up into our atmosphere here, humidity wise, we still have generally decent humidity here in Erie, Pennsylvania, or the outskirts of Erie, Pennsylvania, even in the winter. And again, like I said before, we're in the summertime, in the dog days of summer, July and August, the humidity level here could be in the 90%. So it does get sweltering here sometimes and very difficult to breathe as a person. I can't imagine, you know, the difference for tarantulas as the temperature gets higher. I would imagine it becomes more laborious for them to process their air through their book lungs as well. And that's why they burrow down. They try to find someplace cooler in the summer and someplace warmer in the winter. So imagine if they burrowed down to a certain depth that their temperature is regulated at, say, 66 degrees all year long. They can go down there and be comfortable the whole entire time. Come out, eat, go right back down again. And they only need to come out to breed, eat, and that's it, really. You know, I mean, what other reasons do they have to come out? They don't wander around. So, you know, when you're keeping these, again, you know, you can go online and you can look up, like I did here, you know, your temperature range between 49 degrees and 83 degrees. Now, how long at 49 degrees will they be okay? Probably longer than we think. And if the mean temperature there is 66 degrees, then I'm going to say that, just for sake of argument, that's the gradient temperature that they want to be at. So they burrow down when it's in the 80s to get to that level. And then when the temperature drops, that level that they burrow down, they can come up a little higher or go down a little deeper to get cooler or warmer if they need be. So yeah, again, you know, as the ground stays a certain temperature as you go down below a frost line, which they're not going to have there. So if they find that perfect temperature for them and they find a burrow that they're safe in, they're not going to leave it. Especially females. They are not going to leave it. They have no reason to. So again, this is Haley, unsuspected. I have no idea. Never seen ventral of this spider. Hoping that this molt might be able to see something. She is probably 2 inches. I'd say 2 inches as a diagonal leg span. And again, Brachypelmas are short, stocky spiders with not long legs. That's what Pelma means, or Pelma's feet. Brachy means short. So the Brachypelma part of it means like short-legged, basically, or short-footed. because I think Pelma is actually feet, not legs, so it'd be short-footed. So yeah, she wandered around a little bit, and then of course I wanted to put these plants in, so I covered her up. And that's another thing that I recommend to you if you're going to work in an enclosure, like Brachypelma, Lassiodora, anything like that that's flicky, is to put a cup over top of them and just let them sit there. And then do your thing in the enclosure, put your plants in, remove the boluses, clean, whatever it is that you're going to do to the enclosure. And then when you're done, just take the cup off top of them. You don't have to take the spider out. You don't have to stress the spider out. Even if you want, I don't think that I would put something clear on there, so when you're taking it off, you have an idea where the spider is. But that's the best way to work around them, to be honest with you. And it's less stress for them to be covered up than it is for them to be moved out of the way, or, I need to clean its enclosure, so I need to handle it now, so I'm going to poke it in the butt, see if it'll move to my hand, and then I'm going to do what I need to do and then put it back in there. Now the spider doesn't want to go back in. It's, to me, it's just a big hassle. So it's pretty easy just to put a couple over top of them and be done with it. So this is like, I enjoyed actually doing this because I get to do a little bit of research. So, it's not really a care sheet, so to say, or a husbandry video, but it kind of is. I'm not going to get into the details like Tom Moran does. Tom does a wonderful job with his husbandry videos. If you wanna know husbandry from slings all the way up to adults with certain species, go check out his channel, and then I think he's got it in sections where you can just go look up husbandry and see if there's a spider there that you need to have information on. Because he'll print a lot of the information will be seen on screen. So he'll have blurbs up there that'll have, the information as far as substrate level, how moist, how dry, some temperature ranges and odds and ends things, which, again, I don't have the software to do that, so you have to trust my voice and hope that I'm not talking too fast for you. And again, you can message me anytime if you have questions about any of these species that I'm going to do these on. But I'm going to go ahead and do these on all my Brachypelma species to start out with. So we already did the Schroderi, which is not a very common spider, and now the emilia, which is my favorite Brachypelma, to be honest with you. I like that they're short and stocky, and the red and the black. I just like the way they look, and they're not super skittish. They're a little bit more docile than some of the other brackies, but she will kick hair. If this is a she was kicking hair when I first moved her out of her enclosure into this one, but it was a very quick and easy transfer. I just put the cup over top of her, kind of tilted it on its side a little bit, and she crawled in it, and I brought it over here, put the enclosure back down, prodded her just a little bit through the holes, and she climbed right down. And like I said, she wandered a little bit, and I'm sure she'll end up finding that area right there to go into. As you can see, she's starting to move now, finally. I kind of went with the cocoa fiber on this one because that's exactly what she was on, was cocoa fiber. So I wanted to make sure that, what she felt under her feet was pretty similar to what she had before. So again, if you have questions on any of these Brachypelmas that I'm doing, or any spiders actually that I've raised, I do have some knowledge on some spiders that I haven't raised, only because of being on the groups and stuff, but I do have a lot more information on the things that I do have in my collection. So it's a little bit easier for me to give you better information that way. So again, message me through YouTube, through Facebook, through Messenger, on Facebook, however you want to do it. Now, they like to hide underneath things like this, these leaves she did on her other place. So she might make this her home for a little while until she finds that. Hopefully she'll find it soon, and she'll dig down inside there and make herself comfortable. That's my goal with this. And hopefully, I made it nice and wide so that we can get her out, coax her out for feeding videos on top of that too. So again, if you liked the video, give it a like. Let me know how I'm doing with these care videos with the Brachypelmas, if you want to see more, if you think I'm wasting my time. And we'll talk to everybody soon.